Hello and welcome. Today on the Paws Effect Podcast, we're going to be focusing on a dilemma almost every cat owner faces at some point. What do you do with your cat when you go away? Do you trust a Catery, a friend, or a sitter? And if you do choose a Catery, how do you know it's the right one? By the end of the episode, you'll know exactly what makes a Catery credible, what red flags to watch out for, and how to prepare your cat before boarding, and why professional attentive care makes all the difference. I'm joined by Sister Zoe from Hillcrest Veterinary Hospital, who has seen firsthand how proper boarding can make or break a cat's experience. Let's get started.
A bonus with our Catery is that it's attached to the hospital itself. So we've got obviously trained vet assistants, our handlers. If something goes wrong, we are here attached to the vet hospital to sort everything out. We are obviously monitoring the eating, their toileting habits as well. They've got daily enrichment in the playroom here. We have our pet parent app, so we do our daily updates every day through the app. Or if people don't like to use the app, we've got the phone calls, and then worst case scenario, WhatsApp.
And they get images and details.
Yeah, they get pictures, they can get videos.
So cute.
Talent's been super in the Catery doing all those videos, and we're hearing a lot of good feedback, like people obviously wanting videos and pictures of their cats.
So, a very warm welcome to Sister Zoe from Hillcrest Veterinary Hospital.
Thank you so much.
Zoe, you have become cat obsessed recently because you have been responsible for a lot of the changes that we've been making here.
Yes.
In order to get cat accredited.
Yes.
So I'm not going to necessarily, it's a huge subject that we can tackle, and obviously if you will come back at some point, we can discuss some of the changes. But I wanted to focus on one area in particular, and we can also talk about some of the things that we've discovered with all your research on this cat-friendly and what it means to be cat-friendly. Where did you first hear about cat-friendly practices?
I first heard about it when I was working in the UK, but I didn't really dive into it. It was just kind of a certificate sitting on the side there, had a look at it, was like, okay, it's there, not sure what it means. And then spent some time over there, came here, and that's when Shan landed this nice piece of paper in front of me. And I was like, oh, what is this? It's a lovely 100 and something page document about cat-friendly principles, how to be more cat-friendly as a practice with regards to like hospital wards, isolation wards, and handling techniques as well, which I never really thought
existed.
Could be a thing. Yeah. I was just like, okay, let me read through this, and it turned out to be a hell of a lot more than I actually anticipated.
It's a like you say, it's a big subject, and I mean,
huge.
For those who enjoy cats, as we clearly do, a lot of the principles that we've put into place in our ward, we have also set up in our Catery.
Yes,
and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Some of the things that owners may also want to be aware of, because they can institute some of these changes in their house with minimal effort.
Yes.
So
it's super easy and actually very convenient, especially.
And I mean, we're learning things every day.
Every single day about cats and
their needs.
So many needs, but they're wonderful little creatures.
Yeah.
Especially little zines.
Yeah, Xena.
But yeah, we can dive in.
So I suppose one of the reasons we're going to talk about this is because we have a Catery on site.
Yes.
It's a lovely luxury Catery, and we're really privileged to have it.
Yes.
But we have a lot of owners going, what is the right thing for me to do? I'm going to be going away. Do I find a Catery? Do I find a house sitter? Is it okay to leave my cat at home with a, automated feeder? So what are your general feelings about it?
Especially like nowadays, and as the years picked up with our Catery especially, a lot of people are more leaning towards Cateries. I think in certain circumstances, like a very, very stressed out cat or an older cat, people tend to already have set house sitters in place, or if it's a very stressy cat, they'd rather have someone come to their home, not to disrupt the routine of the cat. But nowadays, people are like taking their cats to the beach or being more adventurous with their cats. So it seems like everyone's kind of changing it up a little bit, but definitely here we're seeing more and more repeat clients as well as first-time clients coming, seeing the Catery, loving it, and then bringing their animals back. So I think there's an upwards trend of people looking into catteries or just clients for vaccinations. They're saying, oh, we're going to this cattery and this cattery. I haven't heard about many catteries in the area besides ours. But I think there is an increase. More people want to go away for longer periods of time. And I think a bonus with our cattery is that it's attached to the hospital itself. So we've got obviously trained vet assistants, our handlers, obviously myself for the last couple of months going in there, doing all the things, Tundo, our AWA as well. So I think they like that aspect that if something goes wrong, we are here attached to the vet hospital to sort everything out.
I mean, this is particularly helpful for our cattery guests, I suppose we want to call them, that are on medication. This is particularly helpful, to be able to administer drugs, monitor insulin.
Yes, exactly, like the diabetic cats.
Yeah, the diabetic
doing their insulin twice a day. We've got the fridges, obviously, that we keep the insulin in. And it's not a struggle for the owners to then go and have to explain and make sure that house sitters are able and are confident enough to give the insulin to the cats at the correct times, at the correct dosages. It might just eliminate that stress for clients, say, with cats that need medicating as well. I
mean, cats are really sensitive. I mean, we've had situations where owners have gone away and house sitters have gone, the cats have disappeared. They're not coming home. They're strangers in the house. So that's always, unless they are truly indoor, but often they're hiding, new smells, new sounds. They're very sensitive and very potentially bonded to their owners.
Correct.
That you could have a situation with a cat that doesn't eat sufficiently, doesn't come out, cannot be accessed to be able to administer medication. So, I mean, in that regard, those are situations where we say, it's probably better. Yes, it means in a confined environment, but there are advantages to that.
Exactly. And like ours, we're obviously monitoring the eating, their toileting habits as well. They've got daily enrichment in the playroom, so they go in there once or twice a day, depending on the capacity of the cattery. And like you say, it's like a confined area, unfortunately. But we know where they are. They're safe. We can definitely tell you if they're eating, drinking, going to the toilet normally, if there's any concerns. Obviously, more stressy cats, we want to keep them nice and quiet in there, not want to disturb them too much, and it can take a couple of days or a day or two to adjust to the cattery routine. Some cats take a little bit longer, like we've had a few cats that we just say to the owners, they're eating little bits. It's not great. Some cats just don't eat their full meals every day, and the owners will tell us that. But they also like, when they get stressed, they like to hold in their wees and their number twos. So it does take a day or two for some of them to just relax, go about their toileting habits normally, and if necessary, have one of the nurses or the vets check them out if we're concerned.
I mean, there are some catteries, and again, I can only talk about ours because we went through a lot in order to investigate cats' needs, what they want in terms of the material that we used for the cage design, the dimensions. I mean, we know this because we had a little issue with our cat ward cages not being in spec in one particular dimension, and they had to be redesigned. So we are very aware of some of the benefits that we can, have in our luxury cattery. That being that it's a lot quieter.
It's much quieter, especially being obviously we want to be cat friendly accredited, so separate cat ward, but this cattery is on the opposite end of the hospital, so not a dog noise, not any type of noise reaches this room. With our little speaker, we've also got the cat friendly music playing.
So what does that sound like?
I've only walked in on it once, and it kind of took me by surprise, but it was like nice,
peaceful,
very peaceful, like you're walking into a spa and like getting a massage, and like, okay, I feel relaxed. But so far so good.
And even, closing the doors, it's not noisy. There's no metal banging. It's down to that kind of level of consideration, isn't it?
Yes, it's like you're walking into a soundproof room. It is dead quiet.
Crazy. So let's talk about some of the other things that we put in place. We obviously, we know that especially at home, some owners will have closed litter trays, open litter trays. But there's been a lot of consideration in terms of the kind of litter that we use and the litter tray. Why is it important for us to firstly provide litter trays? Let's talk about that.
Well, a lot of cats can be outdoors, indoors. A lot of the cats that come into our cattery are mostly outdoors, so they prefer to go outside. So in our cattery, it's almost like a little undercover area. Litter is more like a stony texture. It's quite much more fine. Some owners do request to bring their own cat's litter. It's just because the cat has been used to this litter. They don't think it'll urinate or defecate in any other type of litter. So we do accommodate that way, so that if they want to do bring their own litter, that's absolutely fine. Worst case scenario, if it is an outdoor cat not really used to a litter tray, we can grab some like soil from outside to almost replicate its natural toileting environment to see if they want to go that way. But it helps that it's nice and quiet in there. They have no visual contact between next door neighbours to themselves, so they know they're by themselves. No one's going to be looking in on them going to the toilet. And there's air vents just towards the back where the litter tray is, so the scent should be hopefully gone immediately. And then if they need to go again, they obviously cover up their own scent, and they like to cover it up. And then they just use it again, and then we clean it out as soon as possible.
You look at me, I look at you, I see the love in your eyes. I'm lost in
Health you can see, love you can feel. Ultra Pet, the science of love.
So some owners, like you say, would like to provide their own litter, but the same applies to food. Why is it important that we offer that owners can bring in food? We obviously provide it.
Yes.
But what is it that sometimes happens if you change the diet suddenly?
Well, in that case particular, we can upset the tummy. So they could have either vomiting or diarrhea. A sudden change too quickly can upset that gastrointestinal tract. Say for cats that are on prescription diets, so cat that gets blocked easily is on the CD stress. We don't want to put it on normal food in case the cat eats the food. Over time, it could block again. We want to make sure that it's, number one, as comfortable as possible. We're not changing too much coming from home, coming to a cattery. It's already stressful. Keep it on the same food, know what it's familiar with, but also in particular prescription diets. If it needs to eat this food for a medical reason, then please do bring that cat's food. Obviously, we've got the cat food supplied in the cattery, but mainly the prescription diets. And then some people like kitten food for their kittens, so then they bring their own particular kitten food. It's also just down to the owners. They might say, no, that's fine for a couple of days, feed what we've got. Otherwise, they just bring in and say, this is what my cat's been eating its whole life. Please, can we just continue with it?
Do not change it.
No.
I mean, I know, for example, my cats, they obviously have a set dry food diet, but I know that I do occasional changes with the wet food so they can tolerate it. So they're not likely to get gastric upsets from it. But with cats are particularly fussy, and some owners find it very difficult. Then even when they get them home, it's like, what were you feeding them?
Because now they like that one and they don't want to eat the one at home.
So those kind of things can be kept the same.
Yes, absolutely. And if we do have, say, a cat that's obviously not used to a cattery environment, that doesn't want to eat their normal food, say an owner's brought their own food, they're not really interested in touching it. Obviously, we've got the shop attached to us, so we can say to the owner, listen, we've got a variety of wet food. Generally, wet food is like the tastiest stuff, or what I think is the tastiest stuff to them. And if you warm it up, cats obviously have a greater sense of smell than we do. We can warm it up, it makes it smell a lot nicer, and they're more inclined to eat something that smells a lot nicer than just, here's a sachet of food. Try and eat it. So I see more results if I warm it up, and they're a little bit less want to eat their food, but if you warm it up, make it smell nicer, they tend to eat it a little bit more.
So what do owners do when they've got more than one cat? Is it advisable to keep them together, or do you generally see them separate them?
It really depends on the case. Cats, I think older cats in particular in the cattery, we tend to keep them together. Newer cats, or say an owner's adopted a cat recently, adding it to their other cat at home. We have one in there at the moment. It's a new addition. They don't really completely know each other. So I said to the owner, rather separate them. We don't want to upset them by being squashed into a villa, say, together. It's not as big as a space as, say, a lounge or a bathroom if they were being kept in a bathroom. So it really depends on the case. Yeah. Some cats love other cats and want to be together. Others absolutely hate them and would rather be alone. So also up to the owner. And if they have a chat with us, we can kind of gauge and say, yeah, let's keep your cats together, or let's be safe, let's separate them.
There's a lot of information we generally ask these owners when they're inquiring or before admission.
Yes.
Take us through some of these things and why. Let's start off firstly potentially with the vaccination status.
Yes. So we obviously want only healthy cats in the cattery. We don't want to have any cross-contamination for whatever reason from a sick cat to a healthy cat, possibly making our healthy cat a little unwell. So vaccinations are very important. They need to be up to date. Kittens, it's generally, we're only seeing much older kittens, so they've just either finishing their kitten vaccine course or are on the last one. They'll generally come for an appointment the day of admission for their last kitten vaccines with myself or either one of the nurses. And then we admit them from there. But we haven't had a lot of cases where the cats are absolutely fully unvaccinated. Only a couple. They'll stay in our isolation ward or cat ward for at least 48 hours just to make sure everything's okay, that they're eating, drinking, going to the toilet all normally before we put them into the cattery. That's if they're fully, like, we have no vaccination record. So obviously chatting to the owners as well. When was their last tick and flea treatment? We don't want any ticks or fleas into the cattery. Again, can jump onto other cats, give them infestations as well, in particular with the playroom, because it's a communal playroom. Although we use F10 to disinfect and make sure and the blankets get washed and everything, we just don't want any type of contamination between the kitty cats.
No.
So it's vaccinations, tick and flea, and dewormers as well, all need to be up to date.
Yeah. So we also obviously ask, and most people volunteer this information, if they're on any chronic medication, who their regular vet is.
Yes.
Because often there's a situation, and we've had it a couple of times, where maybe the cat has a vomit or stops eating and the owners are not contactable.
Yes.
So it's nice to be able to get the history or to have an understanding of, what the agreement is in the event that something happens.
Yeah, exactly. So there is obviously that little page for who's your normal vet and an emergency contact. We would like an emergency contact for points like you've just explained. The owner's uncontactable. We need someone to talk to, say something's happened, like the cat vomiting. We need permission to do tests just to make sure everything's fine. As far as the T's and C's, we can stabilise the cat. We're obviously attached to the hospital. So stabilising, if it needs drips, an anti-nausea medication, say an anti-inflammatory if it's hurt itself in the playroom, we can do that. It's agreed in our T's and C's. But any further testing, we do need owner's permission. So it's either through the emergency contact. Luckily here we have our pet parent app. So we do our daily updates every day through the app. Or if people don't like to use the app, we've got the phone calls, and then worst case scenario, WhatsApp.
And they get images and details.
Yeah, they get pictures, they can get videos.
So cute.
Talent's been super in the cattery doing all those videos, and we're hearing a lot of good feedback, like people obviously wanting videos and pictures of their cats. So hopefully they don't miss them too much, but obviously seeing pictures of them just makes you miss them more. So I think that's been an added bonus with that platform to do the pictures and the videos. Obviously daily updates are great. We're seeing more and more people that their cats, animals in particular, are their children. So they want to be updated all the time. How's my cat doing? So we try to do it once a day, at least once a day rather. Sometimes if you're lucky enough, we can do multiple, depends on the day. But I think we're having quite good feedback from it as well.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Nice to get like a little picture of the cat playing, and, particularly with the toys in the playroom, I have to say. That's sweet.
Very, very
And of
sweet.
course, we've got the window where we can view them. And
yes, we just walk straight
with them.
past and they're like, oh, hello. So it's very, very sweet. And then sometimes while we're cleaning, or say Alec goes in or I go in, and it's, say, a repeat customer. There's one in particular that we'll just take out of their villa, pop them on the floor, and they can walk around with us in the Catery just to make sure everyone else is okay. So it's also helpful with having repeat customers that the cats get used to the environment, used to the people, and they become our little friends. And we're like, okay, come, let's
home
go
away from home.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is a lot in terms of the things that probably go unrecognized that I think people who haven't run a Catery or haven't had to use a Catery don't think about. One of them being is how strict we are about cleaning.
Yeah.
Cleaning and the sterilization and, those kind of protocols that, we have very experienced assistants who keep the place absolutely immaculate.
Yeah.
Not only because you want it to smell nice, but you also, it's an environment where we're going to have cats that maybe don't see each other, but in the same kind of airspace.
Yes.
So we try and keep it
nice and tidy, nice and clean. Obviously, mistakes happen. Some of the younger cats have an absolute ball in their villas or their penthouses, and they jump from the little platform, nick the edge of the litter box, and that sends the litter box absolutely flying everywhere through the doors, through the little gaps in the window. So, like for that instance, say a cat on the top villa does that, the litter can sometimes fall into the villa below that one, particularly with the younger cats, because they just love messing up their villas. But then it's also that contamination from the top cat again to the bottom cat. We want to make sure it's all clean, no cross-contamination as soon as possible.
Yeah. So let's talk about the bedding and space, because the one thing I notice when I walk in there is just how content they are.
Oh, they love it. So they've got a little mattress, depending on if they're in a villa, a penthouse, or a suite. Every of those cages has a little mattress, and it's this super fluffy, comfy cover that it's almost like one of those blankets, like when you get a kitten, they just start kneading and making bread. So they seem quite content with it. And then in the villa and the penthouses, they have those hammocks, which is, we've got the older ones and the newer ones, which are coming more and more as they get cleaned. So those are also super soft, super fluffy, and they seem to love the hammocks. They just want to lay there, be a couch potato all day, and they seem very content in there. They're like, it's nice and soft. We can just sleep. Again, it's quiet, so they're not disturbed, so they just have a nap. Most of them do all day as well. Besides going into the playroom, you walk in there and they're all having a snooze. I'm like, okay, never mind.
But there is something else that I notice when I walk in there, and that's the number of Feliway diffusers. So tell me what is going on there.
So the Feliway diffusers are these plug-in, it's a synthetic pheromone that you can plug into a wall outlet, or there's a spray. It just is a pheromone just to help almost take the edge off. It's not a sedative, it's not a tranquilizer. It's a man-made pheromone that just helps them take a deep breath, takes a little bit of the edge off. Unfortunately, some cats, they don't like it, or it doesn't work as much as I see it on other cats. So we've got two, one in the actual ward itself and then one in the playroom. And they do cover quite a big square footage just by one diffuser. So it's out there constantly emitting this pheromone into the air. For more stressy cats, what we can do is use the spray on one of our Just for Pets blankets and cover the cage. They like if they are a bit stressed, a bit scared, you tend to see them hiding a bit more. Okay. If we cover the cage, it's obviously a nice, dark, quiet, covered environment. They're not constantly having to watch for someone looking at them through the window. So that also can help, just covering with the spray as well. But even the Feliway in the hospital side of things as well has been fantastic. People are really loving it. We've got the Feliway in reception, so when the cats come into reception, they sit there by the Feliway diffuser. They'll come into the consult room. I think I've got on my side. And then straight into the cat ward. There's one in there waiting for them already. So it's just kind of like, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. But some cats work really well with it. Some others, I think, just need a little bit more time or something a little bit more stronger as well. Okay.
So before we talk about our daily routine in the Catery, because there is a process
here,
how do owners, if they know and they've never really used us before, how do they go about preparing for the visit or coming in to bring their cats in here for the first time? What do they need to prep, and what are they allowed to bring, and what should they leave behind?
So for our Catery in particular, when we send out all the details, we say, yes, if you want your specific food, bring your food, that's fine. Cat carriers, obviously cat carriers and cats, a lot of people or a lot of cats associate cat carrier, I'm going to the vet, this is not going to go well. So that's number one stressor. You still got to get through the drive, through to reception, and then you're going to leave them here in a new environment, new people, new smells. So it's almost like stressor stacking. I think that's what they called it. So I'm kind of jumping around a bit, sorry.
That's a lot.
So number one is trying to get that cat carrier more involved in everyday life. Even if it's just in the room where you feed your cat, leave it open, put their favorite blanket in it, and put it in the room where you feed it. Every day or every 2 days, you can move their food closer and closer to the carrier. It's not, here's the cat carrier, you're going inside, we're leaving. So I would definitely say maybe even 2 weeks beforehand, a couple of weeks beforehand, just get the carrier involved in everyday life. Put their bed in it, even take, if it's one that you can take the lid off, leave it open like that. Put their bed in it so that it's an open frame. They don't have to worry about going inside something, and they can go sleep there overnight, or even if people just start feeding their cats in the carrier, obviously after moving it closer and closer, because that'll help almost eliminate the first stress of everything. Everyone, even people, I've put my cats in a cat carrier, I'm like, oh no, here we go, because no one likes it. Then obviously the drive's a bit stressful. You can play cat-friendly music through your radio, through Spotify, anything that you can connect up to your radio. We don't tend to like having the cat carriers left here. Unfortunately, with the food for everyone and all our blankets and all our sponges, we don't have enough space. We just can't accommodate, especially if December holidays come and there's about 30 or more cats. We don't have space for 30 carriers. So it's easier for us if the owners could take them home. So definitely food's a must. Carrier will go home. A lot of people want to leave like blankets, familiar pieces of clothing. Unfortunately, when it does get busy, things get soiled, and unfortunately, they need to go in the wash. But with obviously our Catery side, hospital side, things start to go missing. So we're starting to ask clients not to bring their blankies and their toys, just because we're having a lot of people come back saying, you don't have our blanket, you don't have our, say, jumper, jersey, anything like that. So we're trying to stray away from it. We have got, obviously, the blanket covers that we spray with the Fairly Way spray, just to help take the edge off. Their toys as well, a lot of things go missing between moving them from the villas to the playroom. Also disinfection. If, say, a toy gets left in the playroom, some other cat has used it, we don't want to cross-contaminate. And that's also the biggest thing about cleaning. If it's a material toy, put it in the washing machine, but it can get lost. If it's a plastic toy, you can spray it, but if someone's bitten a hole through it, we've damaged it. The list just goes on and on. So we're just trying to not deter, but we
just explain.
That we just don't want to lose anything, and we also don't want that cross-contamination. So we're straying away from that at the moment.
I mean, we've had situations, and I know that you make exceptions to the rule, like when it's quieter. We've had, I remember one cat that would only sit, I don't know whether you remember, would only sit on a book. So the owner brought a book.
Yes, I think I caught the tail end of it, and I was amazed.
So we were like, we can accommodate it because, we were fairly new. And we had this cat in with us. But obviously, as you said, when you've got multiple cages and there is thorough cleaning, that there's always the risk that the book goes in with the wrong wrong cat.
The wrong cat.
Yeah. So a very good point. So in terms of vaccines, obviously you covered that. You asked them to bring in their vaccination history.
Yes.
That is also part of your prepping for coming in.
Yes. So when they obviously sign the T's and C's, they can tick a little box that they give us consent to use their pictures that we've taken for the app.
And they're so cute.
They're so cute. And you just want to show the world show them to the world. So they have to consent to us using their photos on our social media or not. They can tick no, and that's absolutely fine. It's completely up to the owner. Cat carriers, blankets. Some clients like to bring their own litter boxes from the start. They don't want to upset the cat by changing absolutely everything. So like we touched on the litter a little bit earlier, they'll actually physically bring their own litter box. They say the cat likes this litter box, or their own bowls. And I'll dive more into that now. So like if it's going to stay a couple of days, we generally say, okay, and it's particularly one cat that's a repeat customer. So as we're growing like with the Catery, we're starting to learn more things. So this cat, I think we've just said yes for the meantime. But generally, we've got our own bowls that we can obviously clean every day after feeding. So some litter boxes, it's not a huge train smash if they bring their own litter box, because we can clean that as well. But not a lot of people do it. And I wouldn't say to people it's a necessity.
What do you advise with owners who are feeding raw food diets?
For our Catery, unfortunately not. We don't, it's a risk for ourselves as the handlers, and obviously touching the cats, for the cleaners as well, obviously discarding that contaminated urine, contaminated feces. It's just too big of a risk for us as humans, for the bacteria, as well as the next door neighbor cats. If, say, for whatever reason, that cat that's being fed a raw diet obviously goes into the communal playroom. We obviously clean, but we can't risk any of that cross-contamination, unfortunately. So generally for clients that do feed raw, unfortunately, we do say we can't, unfortunately.
So they would need to change to a cooked
or
commercial diet.
Yeah, for at least a couple of weeks beforehand.
Okay.
If they know, say it's coming up to December holidays, it's October now, even if they start now, obviously doing the change over the 7-day course that generally people change diets over, just to make sure it's not a sharp and sudden change to upset the tummy, and it'll get the owners to figure out which food maybe the cat wants to go on to, not maybe like a Hills or a Royal Canin, because sometimes they can be fussy. But yeah, it will have to be a couple of weeks before coming into the Catery that they need to be on a kibble or just like a commercial diet.
So let's talk about the daily routine in the Catery, because I think, it gives a bit of insight into, what happens.
Okay. So first thing in the morning, it's either, I'll talk from my experience, you'd come in and the overnight guys have done the morning feeds and the morning cleaning. We do have a little like a notice board or a name board correlating which cat is in which cage, and everyone has a name tag just so that we know who's who in the zoo, who needs what medication, everything like that. So we'll go around and tick who's eaten, who's weed, who's done a number 2, move that onto their own little clipboard. So each board has a column for eating, drinking, number 2s, grooming, exercise, as well as medication, plus the owner update little checkbox. So we'll work through that list to see who's eating well, who's not, who's gone to the toilet. If it's a new cat, I'll just have a feel of their tummy as well, just to make sure they're not getting a bit constipated if we need to intervene with, say, a laxative or something like that. And then we start the lengthy process of changing everyone from their villas to the playroom. So depending on the amount of cats in there, we try to give them as much time in there as possible, obviously rotating between the cats. So throughout the day, you're just backwards and forwards changing the kitty cats.
It's lovely, I must say. I just love the process. I've seen the cats and they love it in there. They love a stretch of legs.
Yeah, and they just love going, obviously, up the platforms, up the wall. Unfortunately, there have been a few scared ones that do love the playroom, but they'll go up the platforms on the wall to the highest one. And although I'm quite tall, I can't reach that far. So they stay up there for a little bit of time just so we can find someone to come help us bring them down safely. And then they'll go back into their villas. Obviously, on our checkboards, we've got morning, midday, evening, check how everyone's doing. We'll check when we've done the owner update. And then, grooming as well, especially the long-haired cats, obviously sitting in their villas for time while they're not in the playroom, can cause a little bit of mats where they just sit and have a little lie down. So we try to groom them as much as possible as well.
How often are you recording their body weight, and why is it important to monitor body weight?
As we've been learning with the Catery, we're doing it more frequently. Obviously, body weight is important just to make sure they're not losing weight. Losing weight can be obviously a sign of something wrong, like in veterinary, they're losing weight because there's something wrong with their thyroid, they're diabetic, anything like that. Also, if they're stressed, they're not going to eat, they're going to lose weight. We need to make sure it is not being such a sudden change so dramatically that there could be something wrong with the cat. We need to make sure that they are like equal to, sometimes maybe a little bit over than what the owners drop them off at, just to make sure everything's still going well and they're not losing weight so dramatically, especially with their stress, with their stay here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we tend to find that the ones that, particularly the repeat ones, get into a bit of a routine.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
even if owners initially are concerned, a bit like us, going into a new environment might be quite intimidating. You may be like, I don't know if I really, but they do settle in with the routines being quite set up, familiar people.
Yes.
We obviously do rotate stuff in terms of people monitoring at night and cleaning at day, but the familiar faces are familiar and the interaction is very similar.
Yes, yeah, like the Catery team hasn't changed too much, especially like with the night guys. It's mainly the two, Patrick and Jubs, so that's the same. And then the Catery team is pretty much the same. Amber's stepped up fantastically well, and then Talent's joined and taken over a lot of my responsibilities there. But I still sometimes, if I can, pop in there, like little Twiggy, my favourite little... Actually, don't post that because she's so sweet. My favourite little patient in there. She just, I think she knows me. She's like, she stands up as soon as I walk past and I give her a head tickle and she's like, okay, come pop her on the floor, walk around with her. So they definitely get used to it. Sometimes their stay is not as long as I'd hoped it was. Like say a stressful cat comes in for 3 nights. The first night, really stressful, has hardly eaten anything, hasn't done a wee or a poo. Maybe by the second night, they've eaten a little bit and they've done a wee. By the third night, it's ready to go home. So I do explain to the owners on the first update or the second update, look, I know your stay isn't long. I don't think your kitty's going to settle completely. Hopefully by the next visit, they could stay a little bit longer and just see if we can get them used to the routine. Because when they start to come out of their shells and realize that it's not the most horrible place on the planet, they actually start to enjoy it a lot better.
Yeah. And I mean, we see a lot of people, even when they're coming to look, and we are very happy for people to come and look and see and check out the Catery and feel comfortable with it, spend some time. But we also find it's a place that we enjoy as professionals, enjoy spending time. Like I walked past today and
Shannon and
Gabby are sitting in there. I'm like, oh, what are we there doing?
Having lunch
such a
in there.
chilled place to be.
Yeah, just away from everything. And like I think the cats also enjoy a little bit of more of attention, especially on days when Talent isn't here. But Alec's been super. It's just like such a nice, almost, it's not even feels like it's part of the hospital because you just come and relax.
Yeah.
And then you go back after lunch and you're like, okay, let's get back to work. But so far, so good.
So, I mean, in terms of if people are concerned that their cats are not going to do well in a Catery, what are the kind of cats that you'd say you're probably best trying to find a house sitter? Or do you think it's worth trying and seeing? Do some cats surprise you?
Yes, absolutely. I do. If I know the cat, or say a repeat customer, it's a stressy cat. If we're not their normal vet, I say there are obviously over-the-counter calming medication like the Calmies tablets or the Calmies gel. Some people love them, some people hate it. It just depends on the cat and the person. It works really well for some cats more than others. If we've had, say, a cat here for a couple of nights, it's been really, really stressed. We're not their normal vet. I would advise maybe have a chat to your normal vet. See if there's anything such as gabapentin that we can give orally to the cat, or even the transdermal gel that we can medicate your cat with the next time it needs to come to the Catery. And so far, so good with that response. They're like fantastic. Obviously, for stressy cats here that are here for a long time, if I notice it, I'm like, okay, let me go chat to the vets. it's not really doing really well. It's really scared, hiding away most of the time, not the biggest eater. Do you think I could give some like gabapentin? That's fine. I chat to the owner, say, your cat's really, really stressed. What we'd like to do is give him an oral, almost calmer downer, like gabapentin. Just take the edge off. It's not a tranquilizer. It's not a sedative. It's not going to knock her out. It's just going to calm her down. And generally 9 out of 10 times they say, perfect, let's do it. And that's been fine. And then I chat to them afterwards and say, this is what we gave your cat. Maybe have a chat to your normal vet and see if you want to come back, when you want to come back, if you can start the gabapentin a couple of days beforehand even, just because we know it's going to be a stressful, get the cat carrier out, do the drive all over again, come back to the new environment. And a lot of people are actually like grateful for that advice. So I feel like really glad that we were actually able to see the cat, do what we have done with the gabapentin, and then have them back happier the next time. So it's been really good. Yeah.
No, I must say I'm very fond of the space, and I think you guys have done a phenomenal job in terms of just the level of care, and the kind of feedback that we get is just always so positive.
So good.
People are just appreciative that they can go away without worrying.
Yeah.
That stress of going,
to know exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's definitely been a learning curve, I would say. Obviously growing, as time has gone on, we are able to do more things more sooner. Like if we know it's stressed, then we can get on it sooner rather than when we were first doing it, we're like, oh, could we do this? Could we do that? It seems to be a lot more proactive than it was in the beginning. But I think that's just
working well.
Yeah, it's working super well. And obviously passing that on to the other team members as well, that may not be on the medical side of vet like I am, but they seem to be taking it super, super well.
That's great. And if owners obviously are not based here or want to utilize another cattery, what is your advice in terms of visiting the facility? Is it really important that people just go and take a look and ask the pertinent questions?
Absolutely. I definitely think as a cat owner myself, I don't think I would want to just send them to a place that I haven't seen or haven't met the people. So definitely go check it out. Make sure you're happy with the facilities. Check if they've got enough room to, say, outdoor catteries. They have like a long run. They've got enough space to exercise, go for their daily enrichment. Make sure the facilities are obviously clean, that if you've got one cat, it's going to stay by itself, not popped into, say, a run with other cats that it's unfamiliar with. Just go have a chat to the people that run it and say, these are my expectations, or could you point me in the right direction? This is what I would like for my cat. Could you accommodate me? Yes or no? If not, also, there's no harm in going to have a look at other places. Obviously, with our cattery, we do pickups and drop-offs all the way from Maritzburg to Ballito. So a lot of people will come in almost months in advance to have a look at the cattery and be like, okay, this is great, or they might try somewhere closer to home. But it's always worth the drive just to go have a look, have a chat to the people, make sure you're happy.
Yeah.
A lot of people, it's their babies, it's their child. And you wouldn't want to send your child somewhere where you've never been, you don't know what it looks like, how they're going to be looked after. So you're more than welcome to come have a chat to us, come have a look. It's on our website, it's on our Facebook page and Instagram page, but rather come make sure you're happy for yourself.
That's great advice. Thank you for taking the time to chat to me today.
Thank you.
I think the cattery and what you're doing in there is phenomenal.
Sure. Thank you.
I must say, even I prepare to bring my crazy cats in here because I just know they're going to be well looked after and they're going to be content.
Yeah.
And as you said, that's the most important thing, is that they're in a safe environment, they cannot escape, that if they get sick, that it's proactive care.
Yeah.
And they're in an environment that's not going to completely stress them out. They're going to lose lots of weight by the time you go back to them.
No,
so they're not going to love you as much.
Some still love me, some still hate me, but it's okay. I'll take the wins when I get them. But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Sister Zoe. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode on the Paws Effect Podcast. If you found the discussion helpful, please like, share, and follow our podcasts. Don't forget to leave us a comment or review. We love hearing from our listeners. Remember, you can listen to us on your preferred podcast platform. Welcome back to Just for Pets. You're with Dr. Cara.
Hi, Doc. It's Justin the Jack Rossi here, and boy am I itchy.
Are you on a hypoallergenic diet?
Hyper what now?
Changing to a special diet will really help. And Just for Pets have a massive range. And flea and tick medication, special shampoo.
Ooh, how quick can you get some?
Order today and we'll deliver pronto.
I feel better already.
Justforpets.co.za. Vet approved, pet adored. Gets it all to your door.